Okay, so this is a training on how to apply straw mulch. It's not a very complicated process, but there are some important tricks and bits of information that I think will be helpful to everybody as you go about spreading mulch on your plots. So I'm just going to go through some of those very quickly with you. So if you didn't notice, the county purchased about 105 bales of straw. So if you haven't received straw yet to test out on your farm, go ahead and talk to your program manager. Or if you are a individual farm business, you can go ahead and reach out to me and I'll help you calculate how many straw bales you can take from the cement pad. Basically, the way that we split it up is for every 1 acre, each farmer gets, or organization gets 4 bales of straw. So yeah, it's not probably enough to cover your entire farm, but the county just wanted to basically test out this idea and introduce farmers to the concept of using straw instead of something like plastic mulch or paper mulch or any other type of mulch. So there are definitely some benefits to using straw. There's also benefits to using other types of mulch, but today we're going to focus on straw. So I guess the first thing I'd like to talk about is what straw is. So straw is basically the stem of like a type of grain, right? So since we grow a lot of wheat in Washington State, this straw is the stems of the wheat plant. And so it doesn't have any of like the nutritional value of the wheat. That's already been harvested, which is all the seeds that come from the wheat plant. So this is just the stem. There's not a lot of nutrition there, but because of that, it's an inexpensive product, right? So it doesn't cost a lot of money, and it serves a really good purpose, which is it reduces moisture loss in the soil. It is an insulating barrier, so you don't lose as much heat during the winter time. So you can use it during the winter for your winter crops like your kales and your collards and your garlic. And so it raises the soil temperature by a few degrees during the winter time. And then during the summertime, it keeps the soil surface nice and cool. So, your plants tend to like that, especially if you have cool weather crops. Again, kales, cabbage, broccoli. These things tend to like cooler temperatures, even if you have a summer variety of those. So it's going to help in pretty much any season that you use it. And the main benefits are that it blocks out weeds from growing. So if you already have established weeds in your soil, there's a good chance like something that's about this size, a few inches, is going to try to penetrate through the straw. So the best thing you can do is go ahead and weed first, then throw down the straw. You're going to get much better results that way. But once you do that, if you lay it 3 to 4 inches deep on your soil, you should get a very effective barrier that should block out almost most of the weed growth. Something that I should also mention about the straw is that it's technically not organic. So it is considered weed-free, and the way that you don't get weeds in your straw is through herbicide. So it's not an organic material. I know that nobody is technically certified organic here at Horseneck, but it is just something good to know. It's a very small amount of herbicide. It's the same amount of herbicide that you would get when you buy a loaf of bread. Whatever gets sprayed on the wheat, it also gets sprayed on the straw. It's a very small amount, but I just want to kind of mention that because I know some folks are trying to be as organic as possible. So that is one kind of, I guess, downside to using straw. But when you think about something like plastic mulch, which you can see behind me here, plastic mulch has a lot of benefits, but one of the downsides of plastic mulch is that studies have shown that some of that plastic actually can leach into the soil and can even be taken up by the plant into the different parts of the plant. So, if you haven't heard, some studies suggest that, when we just kind of go about our daily lives, we actually consume about a credit card's worth of microplastics per week. So these microplastics are very small particles of plastic that we can't actually see with our eyes, but they're pretty much everywhere nowadays, unfortunately. So your tap water, the food that you eat, they're just kind of throughout the environment. So they're pretty hard to escape. And, but I think what's important to keep in mind is that we want to avoid adding more microplastics to the environment as much as possible. So this is an alternative to that. There's not going to be as many microplastics in the straw as there is going to be coming from the plastic mulch. So that's one of the benefits of straw. And there's not a lot of like nutritional value, like I mentioned. So you're not going to be, it's not like compost. You're not going to be getting very many nutrients from the straw. Eventually it will break down and it will go into the soil and provide carbon, but that's pretty much it. But one important difference between the straw, or another one, and the plastic is that it does actually break down. It is biodegradable. It will go back into the soil and just turn back into soil. The plastic, it doesn't break down very easily. It takes a long time. This one behind me will probably take, up to 10 years to break down. The problem with that is that eventually you are going to need to remove it from your field and then throw it away and then replace it with something else. And then, like I mentioned before, another part of the problem is that plastic can break down eventually and end up in the soil, and some of it will be taken up by the plants as well. So I'm going to just do a quick demonstration on how to apply the mulch. You're going to need some type of cutting tool. This is a box cutter. You've got two rows of twine going across the straw that holds it together. I tend to like to just cut the top one unless I'm going to use the whole thing all at once. If I'm going to just use a little bit here and there throughout the week, I'll usually just cut the top one, and that'll allow me to kind of pull from the ends and just take what I need. And from this point, you can either just throw it onto the soil or you can put it into a wheelbarrow and then haul it wherever you need to go. Probably the most important thing I want to mention today is that you need to take this twine, bundle it up, and take it home with you and throw it away in the garbage, because this is like the worst enemy to the tractors here at the farm. It's very good for holding straw together, but it does a very good job of getting wrapped up in the tractor equipment, and then it becomes like a nightmare to try to cut loose. So please take this home with you, stick it in your pocket, throw it away when you get home. Okay, at this point it's a pretty simple process. You are gonna just take handfuls at a time and then throw them on top of your soil. And I like to kind of loosen it up a bit as I'm throwing it on the soil. That provides better coverage, I've found, and it probably helps kind of insulate the soil a little bit better if you do that. And the goal here is to stack it up 3 to 4 inches deep. So right now I've probably, sticking my finger in there, that's probably a couple inches. So I want to go a little bit deeper with that if I want to get those weed blocking properties and maximizing the insulation of the soil. So using my finger, it's going up to my top knuckle there. That's about 4 inches. So that's kind of what you want to see. You don't want to be able to look into the mulch and actually see the soil through it. At this point, I can't even see the soil. It's just, completely blocking the soil. And again, the benefits there are you're gonna keep more water in the soil. You're gonna keep the soil cooler. And during the wintertime, you're gonna keep the soil warmer. So those are 3 very important things that most farmers are looking for on their farm. So at that point, you're just going to kind of work your way down. One other thing I should mention is that this is an important one. It's good to pile up the straw. You don't want to pile it up and have it touch the main stem of your plant. So hopefully you guys can kind of see this here, but right now some of the straw is touching the stem of this onion. So I'm just going to go around it and just clear like maybe a 1-inch space around the plant. Sure, that leaves an opportunity for a potential weed to grow there, but the downside is because the straw is really good at holding in moisture, if it's touching the main stem, you're setting up yourself for a situation where the plant can actually get diseased and rot, and we don't want that. So we want to keep the moisture away from the stem and just pile it up as much as we can, 3 to 4 inches around each plant. So it's a little bit extra work just to kind of clear that around the plant, but it will make your plants a lot happier. So yeah, at this point, there is one other thing I want to mention. This is probably the last thing, which is if you want to buy your own straw, like let's say we run out of what the county purchased. The county is not planning on purchasing any more this season, but if you would like to purchase your own this season or future seasons, we got this from Reber Ranch, R-E-B-E-R Ranch, and luck would have it that they're only 3 miles away from us. They're here in Kent, and it's probably the best deal and best selection of straw that I've come across. And so if you want to buy your own straw bundles like this, they're about $10 per bundle, which is a pretty good price. If you don't want to go to Reber Ranch, there's also Tractor Supply Co., which sells their bundles for a little bit more. I think it's about $15 per bundle this size. But it is it's an inexpensive way and natural, biodegradable way to mulch your soil. So yeah, Reber Ranch, Tractor Supply Co., those are some places that you can go to purchase. Once we're out of this straw here at the farm, you're done. There's not going to be any more. Again, this was a pilot program that the county wanted to do just to kind of demonstrate the benefits. And now that you guys know about it, we're hoping that those that are interested will go about purchasing their own. If you don't have a truck or an SUV that has enough space to haul straw back to the farm, Reber Ranch also offers a delivery program. I'm not sure what the minimum purchase is. For 105 bales, I think we paid like $400, but that's a very large amount. So if you order a smaller amount, it's probably less expensive than that. So if you have any more questions about this topic or any other topic, feel free to reach out to me and I would be happy to help.